You have PTSD. There's nothing more that you want in this world than to get rid of that PTSD and heal that PTSD. You want to change your relationships. You want to change your work environment, how you participate in society. You want to stop having triggers every single day. This is the video that is going to do that for you, okay? I can't do it for you, man. I've already done it. I have PTSD for almost 15 years, healed it naturally without pharmaceuticals or medication. This is going to be the most important video that you most likely ever watch about healing your PTSD. And then in 6 months or 12 months or 2 years, you're going to look back at this video and you're going to go, that's the video that changed my life. That's the video that changed things for me. When I saw that video, after that, I implemented everything. That's when my marriage got better. That's when work got easier. That's when I became someone who wasn't physically, mentally, and emotionally fucked up every single day. Okay, I'm calling it PTSD. I know it's CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. We're not going to do that. We're just going to keep it simple and call it PTSD. Like I said, I had PTSD for over 15 years. I'm going to show you the healing modalities that I used and that you can use to get better, to fucking nip this thing in the butt. If you think that you can't get better, because I had a time when I accepted, hey, this is the best it's going to get, man. Willpower has gotten me this far, and I'm grateful that I now have a somewhat functional life, okay? If that's where you're at, I want you to fucking rip that out of your brain and throw it in the gutter and let the water wash it away, because that's not true. I've gotten to a point where I'm so healed, I never thought that I'd be able to live life like this. I had a trigger every single 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, for years. That's how I lived my life. I went on benders, shutting the door, going in the other room, curling up in the fetal position, having triggers when somebody bumped me in the line at Walmart, and then the rest of the day was completely fucked up. Weekend and date night plans completely screwed over. That is how I lived a big majority of my life for years and years and years, okay? So number one, let's get this out of the way. If you're here for medication, if you're here, hey, is this guy going to tell me if medication is going to heal my PTSD? No, I'm not. I'm not a proponent of pharmaceutical drugs for PTSD. People have taken them. A lot of wartime trauma, people will go that have PTSD to the doctors. They'll prescribe them pharmaceuticals. Some of them have irreversible, life-altering consequences from taking a single round of pharmaceuticals for their PTSD. They're more fucked up than they were before. If they weren't suicidal before, well, now they're suicidal. If they didn't hear voices in it, now they hear voices in their head, right? It's just the symptoms get worse and worse and worse, and sometimes you develop all new conditions that aren't even PTSD from taking pharmaceuticals. If you don't want to be a vegetable and you want to raise your kids and be there, if you want to be, cognitively aware and have conversations with your spouse, participate in society, and not be hooked on a fucking drug for the rest of your life that's polluting your liver, destroying your kidneys, and making you question, is this really me, or am I just so numbed out from the drugs? I don't really know who I am anymore. That's not the route we're going to go, and the healing modalities do not include drugs or pharmaceuticals in any fucking way. And they don't include self-medicating yourself with alcohol, with pornography, with going out and having sex, with doing anything that will kind of get you that little bit of adrenaline or completely numb you out in an unhealthy way, right? There's healthy and constructive pain, and then there's pain that is just, you're inflicting it on yourself and making your life worse, okay? We're not going to do that. We're not going to reach for the bottle of Jack Daniels. We're not going to fucking tune out because we've had a big trigger, or we're questioning our whole life's existence. We're feeling suicidal, so we're going to go to pornography because it gets our mind off of things. We're not gonna fucking do that shit, and we're not gonna take advantage of other people by going and having one night stands, sexual encounters, again, to kind of take your mind off of it, remove you out of your little reality that you're in your head and your body because of your past trauma, and then you're trying to get away from it by doing something else. We're not doing any of that shit, and if you've done any of that shit, it's okay. Okay, now is your time to change. This is your opportunity. This is the window opening. This is the door opening for you, and now it's your turn to walk through it. So let's go ahead and get into the healing modalities, but it's important to set the groundwork and get those things out of the way. A couple questions that you may have starting off just before we jump in is, how long is this going to take? It takes as long as it fucking takes, dude. When I was in PTSD, when I was in the throes of it, I would have given anything to heal. I would have literally given you all my money. I would have threw you my car keys. I would have fucking said, hey, here's my apartment. You got the contract to it. Use the rest of my money to pay whatever you can on the rest of the apartment lease. It's yours. I would have fucking taken my shirt off, stripped down my pants, taken my jockeys off, and had a cop come by, put me in the cop car, take me to jail for indecent exposure because I literally just gave you everything off my body. I would have given you every single thing. And then I just spent my time in jail and then eventually gotten out. If that was the cost to heal from PTSD, I would have given anything, bro. I would have I probably would have given some of my fingers to heal PTSD, okay? That's how bad it was for me. I lost myself completely. Suicidal, panics, anxiety attacks, triggers every day, fucked over plans with family, friends, my spouse, all the time. People had to walk on eggshells around me, bro. I was questioning who I was. I went from being this, hey, I'm a positive person. I want to progress through life. I want to do some cool things. I'm into music, to a monster, to not understanding the dynamic that was going on inside me, to wondering, who the fuck am I, dude? Am I some sort of fucking psycho? What's wrong with me, man? I wasn't like this freaking a few months ago. Okay. So there comes a point in your life when you get triggered or you have something that happens and then that PTSD comes up for you, but it doesn't always come up right after the situation. So if you were raped, if you were molested, if you were bullied, if you were beaten up, if you were in multiple car accidents, if you had an abusive, manipulative childhood, if you had a manipulative, abusive relationship, if you had if you had wartime experience where you were put in very anxietous and unsafe situations, it's all across the board. But when you had that stuff, then it didn't always affect you right after. It took time. And then when you were put in a certain scenario, okay, whatever that may be, then you were triggered and then the PTSD came up. Okay, so it doesn't always just affect you right off the cuff, right off the bat. Sometimes it takes, for me, it was my first real relationship involving trust and vulnerability and having parents that were just serial cheaters and me being caught in the middle of it and my parents saying, hey, Justin, you know what? You need to keep an eye on your father because I know how he was looking at that cashier. I want you to go in there with him and keep an eye on him. That kind of stuff can fuck you up later in life like it did me when you get into a committed relationship and all of a sudden you're scared and you're having triggers because everything now is a trigger to you and you're questioning everything around you. You're questioning not even the person you're with, you're questioning now everyone because you're fucking triggered. You don't know who to trust. You think everybody's betraying you and all this shit, and that's only part of it, right? But just as an example. So you're here because you have your own personal trauma and you want to be a fucking man and stand up. You're not going to crumble. You're not going to be one of these, victim people. You're just like, oh, my life is so fucked up. I'm going to go on unemployment. I get it. Sometimes you do. Like if you went on unemployment, that's fine. For me, I said, no, I'm never fucking going through the system. I don't care how many times I have to be out of work. I couldn't hold down a job, dude. I couldn't hold down a job for more than 2 weeks, for years. And I wouldn't go on unemployment. I wouldn't be part of the system. If you're part of the system, that's fucking fine. That's part of your story. I wouldn't, okay? And I don't want you to go any further with it. I didn't want to be a guy who fucking eats Cheetos and is on disability or unemployment because the counselor gave me the stamp of approval, which they did give me the stamp of approval. And then I just kind of get to hang out. And when my son comes to me and says, hey, Dad, can you tell me about your story? What's up? I don't want to fucking tell him that story. I want to tell him the story of where I pushed through with everything that I had and I fucked up along the way and it was intense and I didn't know all the answers, but I pushed through and I healed naturally. And now I'm not a vegetable. And now I am a successfully employed human being. And now I am a productive member of society. And you know what the truth is? I will always be a little fucked up inside, and so will you most likely, because if you have bad PTSD and trauma, You're always going to be a little different than the people around you, man. You've been through shit. You are going to see things and experience things just differently. You are going to be so grateful, okay? I had an experience where somebody came to me at Christmas of 2017, December, and said, hey, for those of us who've had PTSD and we get over it and we get better, we appreciate things in life and life itself 99999.99999 times more than the average person. The average person is walking by, they're complaining about something. They're like, oh, fuck, it's raining. And you're like, God, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I woke up with my mental faculties this morning. I'm grateful that I'm a father that hasn't fucked up my kid. Like, you're grateful for the small things in your life because they're big things, man. So that is where you're going to get to, okay? From this point onward, now that you've seen this much in the video, you're not allowed to go back. You're not allowed to run away. You're not allowed to, oh no, I'm going in my hole, okay? You have to see this through now because now you're getting the knowledge, okay? So, PTSD healing modalities, okay? Number 1 is trust talk. These are all healing modalities that my wife actually made this into an awesome infographic here, and I can get that to you if you ever want a copy of it. So talking with a trusted friend or family member about your trauma. This is absolutely imperative. Us as men want to keep everything inside. We want to hide it. Everything's fucking okay. Hey, why am I such in a bad mood? Why am I so cranky? Why am I such a dickhead? Well, it's probably because you have a lot of PTSD and trauma that you're holding inside and you're getting triggered all over, but you don't want to be a little whiny bitch and talk about it. Well, guess what? You need to be. Okay? You need to find someone that you trust, okay? Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's an in-law. You're lucky if it's an in-law. Maybe it is a counselor. We'll cross that bridge, okay? Don't worry. We're going to cross that bridge when we get to it. If you've had bad counseling experiences, don't worry, okay? Maybe it's a pastor. Maybe it's a bishop. Maybe it is a doctor. Maybe it is a buddy from high school. Somebody that you fucking trust, dude. You're like, I fucking trust this person. This has my back. This guy has my back. This girl has my back, okay? You need to talk to that person. You need to say, hey, I'm fucked up. I've got some shit that has happened to me and went down. I don't know how much I can talk about right now, but I want and I need and I have to push myself to open this can, okay? And I want you to know I'm a little fucking unstable because I haven't really talked about this stuff like this before. And I know that I have to now, okay? You need to start talking about it to process it. You're going to stay fucked up forever if you keep it inside. That's not an option, brother. I'm sorry if you're like an ex-military guy, if you're like a firefighter, if you're a man's man, dude, I'm sorry. You're going to have to fucking bite the bullet and bend a knee and start talking about this stuff because you have to talk about it a little bit to process it, okay? You have to get in it. And yes, you're going to relive some shit. You're going to be brought back. Your breathing is going to change. Your posture is going to change. Maybe you're going to want to dissociate. That's when you find yourself hunched over with your shoulders and you're staring at a wall and your mind's going boo, 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 yada, yada, yada. You're caught somewhere else, bro. You're living something else for a minute. And then you're like, excuse me. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. 5 things that are going to bring me back. Let's see. There's a bag of chips in the room. There's a little ladder in the room. There's a computer. There's a massage table. There's a freezer. Okay. I'm back to reality. You're going to go through some shit when you talk about this stuff. That's why you need to have somebody that you trust. You're not skipping this step, dude. I'm going to take you by the shirt. I'm going to drag you to the person that you trust, and I'm going to make you talk about that, okay? Now, I can't make you talk about it. You got to put in the work, and you got to be open to it. But I'm telling you, this is not going to be easy. It's not going to be a fucking walk in the park. Hey, go do a couple yoga stretches in the park, and you'll be fucking cured, man. It gets your nervous system going. It unlocks the fascia. I'm sorry, dude. That's not going to be how it is. Yeah, we're going to get to some of that stuff, but it's going to be hard, okay? So you need to find that person, and then you need to go out and you need to say, hey, I need to talk about this, and this might be a long thing. I may need to come back to talk for who knows how long, for weeks, maybe for months, okay? It's probably not going to be one unload session. You're going to be processing shit, man. I need to tell you, when I was a kid, my parents were on drugs. My parents cheated on each other. My parents manipulated me. My parents belittled me. My parents abused me. Okay? And that's how you start and you get into that. And I think that kind of fucked me up. And I'm confused because I was good for a long time. And then when this thing happened, I wasn't. And then you just get into it, okay? You get into it. I give you fucking permission, big boy, to get into it, man. If you're a big boy like me, I give you permission. Get into it, okay? Next on the list, we have music therapy. So that is creating or using music to work through trauma. I don't want to hear fucking, oh, what's music gonna do for my trauma? Fucking listen to me, dude. I'm giving you the no fluff, no bullshit. I don't give a fuck. I'm giving you the truth, what actually fucking works, okay? Music can work two ways, okay? If you hear a song on the radio and you have a tendency to get depressed and you're suicidal and your PTSD, brings you to a bad place, okay, those kind of songs, right? Like some songs for me, like there's a couple songs from the Gin Blossoms for me. There's a few others that just fucking get me down, dude. I don't know if it was like there was trauma going on when I was a kid and those songs were playing. I don't fucking know. Or maybe they just get me depressed, dude, thinking about life too much. They send me down a bad hole, and then I'm only a few steps away from going to a not great place, right? We'll put it fucking nice like that, okay? Then there's other songs that if I'm kind of having a little bit of a day, then I can put those songs on and they get me up, bro. Oh, we're talking techno. We're talking ATC radio, we're talking, Hadaway, we're talking all that, kind of cheesy kind of, music that has a really good beat to it. That can get me up and going. So I use that as a tool to help me with my PTSD. Now, I will also pick up the guitar. If you don't play an instrument or something, that's fine, dude. You don't have to. I'm giving this to you because you can use music as a tool as you see it fit in your life. We're going to get how to apply this stuff and all that shit. First, we need to go over it though. So I'll get on my guitar and I'll start playing, and then I'll start jamming and I'll just start and just start singing, start humming, start vibrating my vocals, or just start playing whatever's coming out. If it's sad and I need to get it out, I need to get it out. If it's rock and it's angry, I need to get it out till my fingers bleed, till my fingers hurt, till the pick flies away. Whatever it is for me, that's what I need to do. And music can help me process that. It gets out. Before I go any further, I need you to understand that probably what you know about trauma is fucking wrong, okay? Trauma, when I had my PTSD, I was told it's in my brain. I got to sit down. I got to fucking talk about it. I got to get it out. And then, once I understand it, I can get all these coping mechanisms and shit, and then it'll get out of my head, and then I'll be all fixed. Lies, wrong, old science, old people sitting in chairs with armchair things telling you it's that way. I'm sorry, it's not that way, okay? The trauma is to a degree in your mind, but the greater degree? It's in your fucking body, okay? It's from the crown of your head to your fucking running past your balls, down your thighs, to the balls of your feet. Okay, that is the trauma, and that is where it's stored. You're like, well, how the fuck does that happen? Okay, well, think of a time when you were in a situation that was maybe tense or scary, and you had a couple options. You could fight, okay? I'm gonna fucking get out of here. You could freeze. Oh shit, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. My breathing's changed. I'm totally just frozen. I have no idea. My brain's shut off. Or you could run. You could flee. You could say, oh, fuck, I'm out of here. Okay. Whatever you did, let's get the example of like you freeze, because that's what happens a lot of time in PTSD and trauma situations. You just fucking freeze. You're like, new scenario. I don't know what to do. I'm not processing. Okay. Your breathing changed. Your nervous system changed. Your muscles changed. The tenseness in your muscles changed. Your hormones changed. All this shit was going off that was not normal for you. You're not just like, oh, wow, it's a sunny day. This is awesome. You're like, or you're thinking, oh, shit. And it's making your body physically be a different way, okay? Now, maybe you felt really sick in your stomach, okay? Because, like, for instance, I'll give you a quick example. One night, my mother came home from a tavern that she was working at. She came home at 2 or 3 in the morning. She had had an affair with some dude at the tavern, to my child knowledge, because I was in my room listening to my mother and father yell and scream for hours. It was my father berating my mother, yelling at the top of his lungs for hours in this living room. You could hear everything, man. The house was built in like the 1950s. So for me, I was frozen. I was like this, and I was feeling so many things in my body. I don't remember exactly what I was feeling, but let's say I was feeling really sick in my stomach. I was like, oh God, I feel so sick in my stomach. There's trauma in my body, okay? And maybe when I relive that later on and I get a trigger, I have a tendency to feel kind of sick in my stomach, okay? That's not always how it happens, but I'm giving you an example of how trauma gets in the fucking body. So if you go to a counselor and you sit in a chair for 2 hours, okay, or an hour, because you're only paying for one session at a time, right? For an hour, you're in that chair and you're reliving things, man. You're like, fuck, I messed up. And the counselor's like, good, we made good progress today. And you're feeling all kinds of shit in your body. Your breath's all out of whack. You leave the counseling office and then you don't want to go back. You know why? Because now you relived your trauma and you're not better for it. A piece of you might feel, it depends on your trauma, but a piece of you might feel like, oh wow, I'm glad I got that off my chest. But you keep doing this over and over again and it's not working for you, it's not getting out of you, then you have the trauma in the body. And so I'll give you an example. Vessel or Besselcock, forget it, if it's a V or a B, he wrote the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Okay. In that book, he describes a scene where the lady's gone through counseling and it hasn't worked. The trauma keeps coming up inside of her. And then her legs start jittering as she's recounting an experience. Okay. Her legs start jittering. Her body starts reacting. And the counselor gives her permission. Hey, lean into that. Really go to that place. If you need to move your legs, you need to kick your legs. If you need to run, she starts kicking her legs. And she's activating her body, basically running, but she's sitting down. She's kicking these legs. She's recounting this experience. And then for the first time, she feels that the trauma didn't just come up, but the trauma came out. See, talking about it, you can keep bringing the trauma up, right? All the time when you're going to a counselor. And then eventually you're like, fuck, I don't want to go back. I don't want to relive it. It makes work harder. It makes my week suck. But you don't get it out because when you get it up, it falls back down into your body. Okay, you have to fucking access your body. So when my hand is playing on that guitar and the music is making me feel a certain way, I am accessing my body and I'm working through something, okay? I want you to keep that in mind as we go forward. You're gonna access your fucking body and your mind, okay? For some of you, that may be a key. You're like, holy shit. This is all I've been doing. All I've been doing is going to a counselor and it's not working. For those of you that have gone to a counselor and it works, great. That's awesome. That doesn't fucking work for everybody or the majority of people, especially for guys who are like, fuck, I don't want to go to a freaking therapist. Okay, number 3, RX running for the purpose of trauma therapy. You are not running to tighten your stomach up. You're not running to move your ass cheeks, okay? You're not running to lose body weight or fat. I guess you are running to move your ass though, okay? You are running. And if you get into a funk, like you can feel something coming on, maybe you're triggered, maybe your spouse has said, hey, are you okay? You're feeling cold. You're feeling like ice today. Maybe you're feeling sharp. Maybe when somebody touches you, you're like, fuck, it feels like fire. So you're feeling off. Maybe somebody touches you and your skin feels like fire, okay? You are having an off day. So then what you're going to do is you're going to participate in RX running, okay? Just RX is therapy running, okay? No fitness purposes whatsoever. You're going to go and you're going to start to move. You're going to start to move your appendages. You're going to start to move your body. You're going to experience the wind, the sun, the rain, whatever it is on your face. You're going to pound the pavement or you're going to go for a trail run, whatever. You're going to start accessing your body while you are in a state that trauma is coming up, okay? The whole point of everything is to bring the trauma up, okay? Then to get it out, Okay, so it doesn't fall back down into your body and into your mind. So you got to get it out, and then you got to ground yourself. Okay, so as we continue to go through, you're going to kind of see there's exercises that bring up the trauma more. There's exercises that ground you more. Okay, and again, I'll tell you how to implement these things. Okay, so RX running, you're feeling fucked up. Go for a run, right? Our previous generations have done this kind of shit. Oh, my mind wasn't right. I had to go for a walk. I had to go for a run, right? They were probably accessing some of this stuff without even knowing about it. Okay. And don't piss out on me, okay? Don't you dare piss out on me. Don't you dare go, well, it's fucking running. That's not going to fix it. Oh, yeah? Well, we'll see about that, won't we? Okay. We'll see about it. You put these things together, man, it's like a fucking exploding cocktail of healing. It's absolutely insane, okay? So, the fourth one is meditation, okay? Meditation. Don't punk out on me with this shit. Okay, a grounding, breathing exercise to relieve symptoms of trauma and to bring you back down. Okay, you're not going to meditate and bring up trauma. You're not going to meditate and be like, oh, fuck, I'm there, man, I'm back there. You're not going to dissociate. You're not going to be like, I don't know. I just feel so much fucking worse while I'm meditating. No, you're going to ground yourself. You're going to get your breathing into control if it's out of control, and you're going to enter a state of peace and calmness. You're just going to be grounded. You're just going to be living in the moment, dude. Living your fucking life, right? How many times have you wished that you could just be more present with your spouse, with your kids, with people at work, just in life, dude? Like it's, oh man, like, oh, it's a holiday and you're not even fucking here, man. Your mind is just, okay? Or it's going a million miles an hour. This is what that does. And especially after you've had trauma, let's say that you have had trauma come up and come out and, you did some running and shit. Maybe you did some music therapy. Maybe you did some trust talk, man. You're like, oh, fuck. Like my mind is so, I've been through so much, right? My body and my mind have just been exercised so completely. Now you go into meditation. Go fucking sit in a chair, sit on the edge of your bed, sit on the floor, however you want. Close your eyes and breathe. Okay, you can imagine that what you breathe is pure, beautiful, white, however you want to visualize it, air that's just so clean. It's white, like pure energy, like angelic, right? And then when you breathe out, you're breathing out anything that's black inside you. What you breathe in, you could breathe gold. Okay, you can get gold, man. Gold is going inside you, healing gold everywhere down to the balls of your feet. And then every time you exhale, just like, black tar, dirt, muck, whatever is just coming out of you, man. Dust particles, however you want to visualize it. I'm giving you some of mine right now. Just comes out, and eventually you'll get a point where you've just filled your body up so much with that gold white energy that you breathe and now your breath is clear. Okay. Or you could sit there and pick a spot on the wall and just stare at that spot and listen to your breathing. Listen to your breathing. You're not like, oh shit, I have to calm my heart down. I have to, bring myself down. No, you're just meditating. Just let what's going to happen. You're going to feel different times. Okay. I'm giving you the fucking every answer here. So listen, pay attention. Don't just look at this shit and say, oh, I've heard about meditation. Oh, I heard this on so-and-so's podcast. I heard about, the fucking meditation thing, the breathing thing. Just open your fucking mind for a second, okay? You're at the depths of despair right now. Just give a brother a chance to get through to you, man. I know that it's easy to just say, oh, wow, it's meditation. That's not going to fucking help me. I'm telling you, combining these things will, okay? So go ahead and meditate. It's going to ground you. I love you, okay? With a brotherly love, okay? With a brotherly love. I want nothing more than for you to get better. And that is why I'm doing this. That is why I'm taking this time on a Sunday afternoon that I could be with my family doing something else, because this is on my heart, man. God, the universal energy, has put this on my heart to share. If I give the world something that I have been through, because ultimately I'm giving the world my son. That's what I'm giving. That's my mark on the world. If I can give the world something that I have been through, that I have learned, that I am able to help others heal through, I have to do that. I need to do it. So do your meditation, your grounding. How much better are you going to feel after you've brought trauma up and out through other activities? And then it's time for family time. It's time to go to work. It's time to have a good evening. It's time to go on, midweek date nights. How much better are you going to feel if you take a few moments to meditate and just bring yourself down? Just bring yourself down and ground yourself, okay? PTSD, it has a tendency to unground us so that we're not living in the moment. We're not living in reality, okay? So this is very necessary that when you perform an activity that brings trauma up and out, you need to pair that with a grounding activity, okay? Okay, the next one. And by the way, trust talk, it is mostly an up and out activity. Music therapy, it's mostly an up and out activity, although sometimes it can be a grounding activity depending on how you're feeling when you do it. This is all about you, man. Nobody's journey is going to be exactly the same. That's fucked up. Okay, this is individual. Your trauma is individual. Okay. RX running, that's usually going to be one where you're processing trauma. So like trauma has come up and now you're getting it out by accessing your body. For some people, it can be grounding to run, especially when you're done with it and you're in the stretching portion. That can be grounding. You're letting everything fade away. You're getting back into your body. You're coming down, okay? The meditation is grounding. Okay, that's going to be grounding for you. Yeah, you might get like things like thoughts that pop up or trauma related thoughts, but you're bringing your breathing down. You're accessing your nervous system in a way that's going to calm you. So that's a grounding activity. Okay, letter writing letters, whether sent or unsent, to release trauma, right? Have you ever done that before? If you've been to a counselor, maybe they have walked you through an exercise where, hey, we're going to write a letter to your abuser. Or we're going to write a letter to your trauma, okay? And the way, like, everything that your trauma does to you, we're going to write a letter to that trauma. And then you write that fucking letter. And maybe you've done this in other venues of your life as well, but I'm using the counselor example. Writing that letter helps you process and get out trauma, okay? That helps you process through trauma. So like, let's take the abuser example, because in my view, it's the easiest one to do. You're going to write a letter to your abuser, hey, abuser, you fucked me over. You had no right to do so. You had, blah, blah, blah. Just go into, it can be anything you want from your heart, from your soul. You can get angry. You can get sad. You can do whatever you want in that letter, but you get it out. You get it out, okay? Kind of like trust talk where you're talking. This is another way to get it out, right? You're using your mind. You're also using your hand to write. Not a huge one, not a big one. It's like, wow, I wrote with a pencil. It totally got out of my body. That's not like that. It's more for the mind, but you are actually using your body. You're going over those cursive letters, whatever. You're looking at it with your eyes over and over again. You're processing to write it down, solidify it. Even though it's already solidified inside you, you already know what happened, right? You got it inside you. Everything that happened. You're getting it out on the paper, and it's creating a different way of getting it out for you, okay? It's creating that way of getting it out. It's a pathway to get it up, to get it out, to process it. Very, very important. You can do that with so many things. This is to my abuser. This is to my trauma. This is to a person who helped me along the way. Anything that comes up that you can get out, take the fucking time, okay? Be that man that sits in a room for half an hour or an hour and fucking takes time to write a fucking letter. And then after you get that letter, you can do different things with it. Of course, you don't have to fucking send it to anybody. This is about you. If you want to, okay, you fucking send that. You full send it, okay? But if you don't want to, you can burn it, okay? You can put it in a little, metal pan. You can light that bitch on fire, all right? You can keep it and to look back on and process. You can take it to a fucking mountaintop, make a paper airplane out of it, and send that sucker, okay? You can do whatever you want. Whatever helps you process that is fine. And if you need time to think about, fuck, I don't even know what to do with this. Keep it close to the chest for a minute, okay? Keep it close to the chest for a little while and you'll figure it out. Be that guy that writes the fucking letter, okay? So then we've got foam rolling, okay? I mean, hey, what would this be without a few props, right? I'm going to grab my foam roller. This thing has been through hell and back. This thing changed my life. This was one of my main healing modalities. And you're not going to jive with every single healing modality, okay? You don't need to. If the letter writing thing doesn't jive with you, as long as you try it, you have to try it and you got to put in an attempt. And then if you feel fucked up the first time, maybe give yourself a second time. Maybe say, hey, this is new. I only tried it once. It kind of fucked me over a little bit. I'll go ahead. I'll give it another chance. Maybe I'm in a little bit of a different frame of mind now. Maybe it's not as foreign to me, whatever. I'll give it a second chance. It doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. Okay. You don't have to do every single one of these things. Here is my foam roller, okay? This is about $15 you could buy this at Ross, you could buy this at TJ Maxx, you can get one at Walmart, you can buy one on Amazon. There's nothing special about this. This is completely basic. They make different kinds. All you need is something to foam roll on, okay? That's it. This is probably I'm just going to say it is just the greatest tool, man. I use this so much to heal. So when you feel that trauma is coming up, you're feeling off, okay? And also, even if you don't feel that like trauma's coming up, you can kind of get yourself into a state where you're getting ready to go foam roll. You're either in the gym or you're at home. I've done it both places. And you are going to that foam roller and you're starting the thing like, man, I want to work some trauma up and out of my body, but I'm not in a like trauma related state. What do I do? Okay. And do I want to put myself in a trauma related state? Yes, you absolutely do. If you're saying, hey, I want to work some trauma up and out of my body, absolutely you need to go for it. Okay. So all you're going to do is you're going to start to, like, sometimes when I was working out, I'll give you an example. I would be listening to rock music and stuff. It would make me feel aggressive and pissed off. And then if I wanted to work up trauma, sometimes this would happen naturally. And sometimes I would have to say, oh, I want to make the decision to work up some trauma right now. I would start to think about certain times in my childhood, certain experiences with my father, okay? And then as soon as I access that and I'm feeling angry inside, I'm feeling like lifting 1,000 fucking pounds overhead, I'm feeling like lifting an elephant off the ground, and I'm thinking of these memories and experiences and feelings, right? Nothing specific. It's just, it can be specific, and it was at certain times, but it doesn't have to be. Then I would hit that foam roller and I would get on a knot. It could be on your side body there. It could be on your kind of right around here or lower, your hip area. For me, most of the time it was on my quads. So it's on my quads. I'm on the ground. Okay, prostrate, face towards the ground, and I've got a quad or sometimes both quads on this thing. I hit a knot, fascia that has tightened around the muscle, and people who have PTSD often, they can get migraines, have very tight muscles and lots of knots because of the way that we hold our body. It's not just like this, like, oh, trauma is creating a knot in your body. That's not what it is, okay? It is when you experience trauma and you're reliving it, like for instance, when you're dissociating, you have a tendency and you're shutting down to hunch, okay? Hunching does something. It creates knots, it balls up fascia. Maybe if you're going through a trigger and you're having what I call a bender, something that lasts a while, right? I've had like 2 to 3 day benders before where I couldn't get out of a PTSD loop. I couldn't untie the fucking knots. Then you will hold yourself a certain way. Or maybe when you're in bed with your spouse, you're feeling just angry, you have PTSD. Maybe you're like, I'm not going to move. Like, I'm not going to move a muscle. I'm going to stay perfectly still. Like anything like that can create this fascia that wraps, here's the muscle, here's the fascia. It's kind of like plastic wrap, and it tightens up. And then it tightens the muscle around it and it fucks you over. And then it makes you more likely to have PTSD because now you have all of these tightness around your whole body, which are giving you pain or uncomfortability, which puts you in a higher state of just being fucked over, right? Because if you're in more pain, you're just going to be more likely to act out, more likely to, be ready for a trigger sort of thing. So I take this, I get on those knots, and it hurts, dude. If you have ever used a foam roller before, when you get on a knot and you hold it there, you're not rolling back and forth. You're holding that fucking knot and pressing into it and letting your body weight press that knot into this foam roller. Then when that happens, it hurts and it's pain. And sometimes you're sweating and sometimes you're going, oh, fuck. How long can I hold this? When that's happening, I would be processing through trauma. I would be thinking about those things that I just told you, thinking about, oh fuck, like how could you do that to, it's not the thoughts. I'm not able to go back and give you the concrete, like I'm thinking of a traumatic experience with my father where this happened and I was thinking, while I'm foam rolling, how could you do this to your kids, you piece of shit? How could you do this and that? But it can be those things. I just can't tell you those things because honestly, I don't remember them, because after you overcome certain PTSD triggers and stuff, it's very hard to recall specifics, right? It's like healing. There's a scar and you know that it happened and you're like, yeah, I got that from, what the fuck was that from? It's there, but it doesn't hurt anymore. And so it doesn't have that big memory associated with it. Dude, you are going to love this. Now we're getting into the really fun stuff. With these triggers, you're eventually going to get to the point where the trigger would come by, boom, it's gonna fuck you over, dude. No more date night. You fucking suck. Your self-confidence is in the toilet. You might as well flush the handle because everyone around you hurt that you love the most. When you come out of the PTSD, then you feel like a piece of shit. You have to go apologize to the people that you love. You may have yelled. You may have acted out. You may have been cold. You may have been isolated. And now you just feel like crap. Okay? So when you get to the point where you've gotten deep enough into this, where you have healed so many of your triggers, this is what's going to happen with the majority of your triggers. They're going to go like that. And you're going to see something cross in your head and you're not going to feel, it's not going to affect you. It's insane. And I know that it may be hard for you to understand that right now and visualize it and be like, wow, I can't even imagine that. And I totally fucking get it. I'm telling you that it's going to happen to you. It is going to happen to you 100%. It is going to happen to you, bro. Okay. So another one that's going to happen is you're going to have triggers and they're gone. Okay, they'll never even float across your head again. You just forgotten them. It's like you have amnesia for the rest of your life with those triggers, okay? And then you're going to get ones that go like this. And they're going to stay here. And instead of being a 2-day PTSD bender where you're fucked over, don't feel like yourself, dissociating, acting out, doing anything, being cold, silent, you know what's going to happen? This is going to take 15 minutes to go away. It's going to take 5 minutes for you to find that person that you trust and talk about it. It's going to take 2 minutes for you to just close your eyes and let that pass. It's absolutely insane, okay? So when it comes to foam rolling, utilize it, okay? Get it on wherever the knots are in your body and that you need to work out. And you should, in my opinion, okay, you should be doing this at times when you don't even have trauma, because again, when those knots stack up and the pain stacks up in your body and the fascia starts to grab, then you're just more likely to have a trigger. And when you've been foam rolling, it's like, oh, I took care of myself today. I took care of myself this week, okay? I gave myself some love, and now I'm more likely to not act out at the people around me, okay? So when it gets on that knot, you just go into that trauma and you're just feeling it, okay? You're feeling it, you're thinking it, you're angry, you're sad, you're depressed, whatever. And as that knot releases, some of that trauma over time is just gonna release with it, okay? I'm not a fucking scientist. I don't know to the detail, to the atom, how this shit works. Well, exactly when your fascia releases, it releases these hormones, and when you're thinking that in your brain, they connect together, and then there's a poofing effect that happens, and you just feel like, I don't know exactly how it works, but I fucking know that it works. And there are scientists that know how it works. There has been books like The Body Keeps the Score touches on these types of things, okay? And fascia and all of that stuff. I'm not here to make you understand every little particle down to the atom of how this works. Enough for me to understand is that the trauma's in the body, The trauma's in the mind. Just accessing the mind fucks over your body. You have to bring the trauma up by accessing the mind and the body. You have to bring the trauma out by accessing the body. You will not get the trauma out 99% of the time by just accessing the mind and talking about it. You have to exercise the body in some way. It has to do with fascia and the tightening of muscles and accessing your nervous system. Okay, those things, by accessing your nervous system to the point and the state where that you were in when the trauma happened. Okay, wherever it stored itself in your body, whatever is going on in your body's memory, getting that out actually makes it so that the trauma doesn't come back and just drop back inside you. Okay, that's enough for me, and it better sure as hell be enough for you, because you're in the throes of it right now. Okay, next one. We've got essential oils, the use of natural scents to relieve symptoms of trauma. Okay, there were many times when I was dissociating or when I was in a traumatized state, I was having a trigger where my wife would come over. She'd open up some lavender or different essential oil scents. You'll have to play around with them, but lavender was really big for me. And all of a sudden, I'd be able to breathe again. Okay, it's not this magical thing about the essential oil. It's that introducing a scent like that that's calming, peaceful, and usually is based around like good things like, lavender, summertime, all of those good things. It actually opens up your nose. The lavender itself, the components in the lavender actually open up so that you can breathe more, and it's just proven that it can help relax you. So when you're in a very tense state, if you automatically think of smelling salts, if like powerlifting, they crack open those smelling salts for the guys. It's kind of like that. Okay, you're in a state where you're closed down, you're tense, and then all of a sudden, number one, you just started breathing. Number two, the tension just dropped slightly in your muscles. And number three, your mind that has been on the trauma or dissociating, just going off in la la land, space cadet super, you now have just literally stopped that process even for just a second. Okay, that's how powerful essential oils can be. It's real stuff. And if you were to videotape yourself having a trigger, and you just went through it and didn't do shit, and then you went through it, and at some point during the trigger or the attack or the bender, then you introduced an essential oil and you smelled it, you would see a change. Okay, so this is something that you can utilize. It's a grounding thing. It's one of those things where if you're in a trigger and you're trying to come back from it, you're trying to ground from it, you're going to introduce essential oils. Okay. So again, like you're doing trust talk, you're doing letter writing, you're doing RX running, if any of those things, which obviously trust talk will be bringing it up and out, multiples of them will do that. Then a grounding thing would be an essential oil. Okay, EMDR therapy. So therapy practiced with a licensed therapist, which uses eye movement to relieve symptoms of PTSD. This is not something that I've personally done. This is something that my wife has done and had amazing results with, okay? I have not done it. This is where you go into the counselor, you do set the stage, then the counselor basically, you do a series of eye following movements, you do a series of touches and taps and things like that, and you're activating your nervous system while you're moving your body. This is part of it, and then you're reliving the trauma. But the hope here is that the trauma is getting up and out of your body by you kind of accessing your nervous system in a way. I'm not going to go into detail on this. This is something that you can talk to a counselor about. It's not something that I've done, but it is something that I know that works because I watched on the front lines. I was a part of my wife's EMD therapy journey. I watched her go through it. I talked with her before and after the sessions about everything, and it made a world of difference to her. It is not the only thing that she did. She didn't go into a counselor, do EMDR therapy for a week, and then she was fine. She did it for a period of months, okay? And then she combined it with several other things outside of counseling, okay? So there's not just one thing that's going to do it. It is a whole series of things that you need to do. Okay, this is probably my personal favorite on this entire list. If I had to pick one thing that made the biggest difference for me, okay, this is probably it. Cold therapy, exposing the body to cold temperatures in order to process through trauma. This was a holy grail. This was a miracle event for me when I found it. What happened the first time I ever took a cold shower was I was going through a trigger. I decided to naturally, and I was into like some Wim Hof stuff at the time. I'd never done anything with it. I didn't know about cold showers for therapy or anything like that. I just knew like cold is good for your body, right? It has like anti-aging properties. It's good for your, your cardiovascular and things like that. Well, naturally, I ended up going into the bathroom. I got in the shower and I turned the water to cold. I went inside during this trigger. Again, this is just the willpower phase where I have no tools at all. I didn't know any of this stuff existed. I didn't know cold showers were good for this. I went in there. I turned the water down, going through a trigger, trying my best. I don't want to act out. I don't want to bring this up to my wife. I don't want to disrupt family time. I don't want to shut down. I just want to fucking just be normal, man. Just live a normal life. And I went in there, cold water's hitting me, and then I start going like this. The best I can describe it, kind of sound like, I don't know, it was like a moan. It's like, I felt like I was a lion, okay? Just making lion type sounds, even though I know it doesn't sound like a lion. And I did that for a while. And I was not able to fully overcome the trigger, but I was able to get close to fully overcoming that trigger. Something that would have taken hours of talking, hours of upset. I was somehow able, something changed. It's almost like if you're feeling nervous and then your buddy slaps you in the face or whatever, you're like, oh, fuck, why'd you do that? You're not feeling nervous anymore when that happens, right? You're just like, you're pissed at your buddy and you're shocked. Okay, that's a little bit of what it was like having that cold water. And it was it was like my lower body, kind of like maybe from this area, right? Maybe a little bit of the stomach area as well. And then just getting in that some sort of state of like making a noise, it just took me somewhere. And I got out of the shower and I felt better. And then I think that I did have a little bit to talk about. And then that was it. And then I knew, holy shit, something is here. Something happened. I don't understand what it was. Well, what it was is that the cold water was somehow helping me access like a part of my nervous system that helped me not just get the trauma up, because the trauma was already up. The trauma was up, man. I was having an attack. I was in it. I was in the throes of it. And then getting in that cold water, for some reason, it accessed my nervous system in a way that helped that trauma come the fuck out. It got it out. If I hadn't taken that shower, it wouldn't have come out. It would have just sunk back down and it would have popped up in, a few hours, few days, few weeks, something like that. And then the sound, it just got me into like almost like a meditative state, right? And totally not necessary for the cold showers. I didn't really do that again. That whole meditative thing, that was just the first time for some reason. Ever since then, it was just cold showers. I took a total of 200, almost 250 cold showers, just about. Over the period of about 1 year, a little bit less than a year. I took them almost every single day, and I would take them with or without a trigger. So I ended up getting to the point where I woke up in the morning and I said, am I choosing my family today or am I choosing PTSD? Because if I choose PTSD, I'm not choosing my family. That doesn't happen. So every single day, and I say almost every single day because I had the flu for about a week and there were about 3 days in that week where I didn't take a shower. Every single other day, I woke up, I chose my family every single day. I got in the shower and I worked through my trauma. Again, that activated my nervous system. Now, there was a point where I think that I ended up kind of hurting myself with cold showers because I didn't know when to stop. And let me explain. They helped so much, especially in the beginning, the middle, and even the end of doing them. And then I got to this point where I kept doing them because I was kind of afraid. And I part of it was I would get in the cold showers and then I would have trauma and it would totally that trauma was up. It would just help bring it out, like just crazy like that, just very simple. And then I had times where I'd have days, I made it this routine where I'd do it every single morning, no matter what was going on in my life, what day it was, what my work schedule was like, I would do that in the morning, no matter what. And so I would do it even if there was no trauma coming up. And it kind of put me in check. It kept me in this like checked state of like, hey, I'm going hard. I'm going balls to the wall on this. Nothing's going to stop me. And that was like a check mark for me. Like, I'm in a good mental state. I had my cold shower, right? Even if I was in the shower and there was no trauma coming up, I wasn't working through anything, I'd just be like, woof, and just feel that water, and it'd just go over my head, in my face, on my chest, on my back, on my ass, my legs, everywhere. And I would do that for anywhere from I would do it for about 2 to 10 minutes. And then as I got more and more into it, I scaled it back. I would do it for like about probably 1 minute and 30 seconds to maybe like 5 minutes, just sort of depending on the day, depending on what I wanted to do, how I felt. But then it got to the point where I kind of probably didn't need them anymore, because that's an intense form. That's an intense healing modality. It takes a lot, dude. And it got to the point towards the end where I was just like, it was like forcing yourself to work out. You're like scared to do it. I was fucking scared to get in the shower. So like, oh fuck, like, is my life always going to be like this? I'm so much better now. I'm so fucking better. Do I have to keep doing this cold shower thing that I'm in the military, right? It's just like, oh, get with it. Like, it almost feel a little aggressive after you get out, because you have to be a little aggressive sometimes when you get in. If you're all soft, the shock of the water is like, ah! But if you're more aggressive, like, I know what's fucking coming, I'm ready for it, go ahead, do your worst. Then you get it, and it's like it's more, your body and your mind is more ready for it. Well, I think I did more cold showers than I even needed to. And eventually I stopped, and I probably needed like 200 cold showers, and I ended up doing 250. And so I put myself in a state of forcing myself to do this thing, because I always choose my family. And so that's why I kept doing that. And so eventually I said, I think I can stop. And so I did. And it was completely fine. I was completely fine. All that trauma that I had gotten up and out, it didn't come back when I stopped the cold showers. It wasn't like, oh shit, he hasn't done cold showers for a month now. Now the trauma's starting to come back. Now we're seeing it. No, nothing. What was gone was gone. Okay, so remember that when you're doing cold showers. You can start off on the lower body if you're really, really hesitant or fucking sensitive to cold water. We're all sensitive to cold water. But if you're just like, really, it's going to shock the shit out of you, which I'm sorry, no matter what, it's going to shock the shit out of you, okay? Getting cold water on your back right there. By the way, I lost weight doing that too, even though it had nothing to do with weight. It has to do with brown fat in your body, burning up more fat around it and stuff. I believe that's where some of the weight loss came from. But again, it was never about weight loss for me at all. So I would stand there. The best way that I did it is I turn the water on very, very cold, basically as cold as I can get it, and then let it, while still having some pressure, let it get my face. And then after that, kind of let it get my chest, and then, oh fuck, turn to the side, let it get a shoulder, turn to the side, let it get a shoulder, and then kind of maybe repeat that cycle if I was, feeling really timid with the cold water that day, and then turn around, let it get my back, and then kind of do that process just, for 1 to 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, usually not 1 minute, usually at least 2 minutes in the shower. Feel it out, start it, try it. Don't give up on it right away. Okay, you're going to get in the cold water and you're going to say, holy fuck, that's not for me. What the hell? How is this going to heal my trauma? Don't give up on it like that. You try it, okay? You force yourself to try it. And if it doesn't work, if it's not for you, if you have trauma dealing with water, all of that stuff, those are all very specific concerns that apply specifically to you that you need to take into consideration. But try it out, and then try it like when you don't have a trauma that's happening to you, or a trauma response that's happening to you, and then try it when you do. Okay, and see how that works. Ask your trust person, hey, was I different? Was there any change in me after this? Like, go through those types of things. So that's the number one, I would say, healing modality. I use several of these in conjunction though. Okay, I did foam rolling, and I did cold water therapy in gangbusters together. Okay, the next one is weightlifting based off of the tension release principle. It is used to release trauma and tension. So you're kind of, there's this thing that happens when you like tense and then you release, right? You're like, let's say that you're having pain in your back. Well, if you tense it up really, really hard for like 3 to 5 seconds, and then you release, you've almost just reset your muscles in a way. And so there's something that happens when you're lifting weights, especially when you're in a state of reliving trauma or feelings or anything. And then you go in there and you hit it, and you're not lifting for the reps. You're not lifting for the muscles or the fat loss or anything. You are lifting to tense your body and to tense your muscles and to exercise your nervous system and access your nervous system. Because again, when your brain is going, that trauma is up. Okay. It's up. It's like right here. It's like, whoa, okay, here it is. It's here. I'm going for it. I can see the aura of it. And then when you activate your body, okay, like weightlifting, then you're getting the trauma out. That's how you get the trauma out, is with the body. Okay. So it's coming up and it's coming out. So weightlifting is another tool, right? It's just like the RX running, the weightlifting, all of the maybe the hand if you're playing guitar, drums, both arms with the music therapy. Okay, next one is yoga stretching. This was a huge one. These were like considered, probably what I considered my big three were the foam rolling, the cold water therapy, and the yoga or the stretching. I say yoga and stretching in conjunction and interchangeably. Like I say that they're the same thing, even though they're not. Okay. Stretching is when you're really getting in and you're stretching a muscle. Yoga has to do with your breathing through certain stretches. Okay. And it's almost like a meditative state that you're accessing while you're stretching. So releasing tension in the body to help release trauma from the body. The reason why I use them interchangeably is because stretching is the big thing that I got into. So this kind of has to do with when you go through these episodes and triggers, you're going to get tight. When you're tight, if you don't do anything about it, you're going to fuck yourself over. So you're not going to be as happy of a person. So doing that stretching, elongating and lengthening the muscles, doing all of those sorts of things, any stretches that you can think of, anything that feels natural, anything that you find online, anything that you've done before in gym class or elementary or high school, anything at all will work for these stretches. But what you're doing is you are trying to just elongate your muscles, get the tension out of your muscles, and this is a big grounding thing. So let's say you've gone through the cold water. Now you need to pair it with a grounding. Okay. Boom, there you go. You got your stretch. Let's say you've gone through the foam rolling thing. Okay. You got a lot of trauma up and out. Okay. Go to the stretch, calm down, brings you down, grounds you, helps you live in the moment, helps you get back into your body, right? Leave the trauma arena for a while. Okay. RX running, same thing, but that could have a tendency, depending on who you are and how you are, to get the trauma up and out, but also be a dual grounding activity for you. Okay. And by the way, that was part of my 1-year routine. I took about 250 cold showers, and then I also did the yoga or stretching for 1 year to the day. So it started around Christmas time in 2017. It was just before January of 2019. Okay, every single day, it didn't matter. I would roll out of bed sometimes, just feeling like a total lazy ass, completely tired, drained, and I would get on the ground and I would do 5 minutes of stretches. So maybe I'd do like five stretches for like 1 minute each, whatever it was. Cat, cow, cobra poses. I can show you any stretches that you want. I can show you the exact stretches that I performed. Okay, so grounding, using the people, places, and elements around you to remain present and focused. So grounding, we've already talked about it. It's any activity that brings you back to the present moment and helps you feel like you're here. Okay. Nature therapy, getting out into nature to connect with the earth, stillness, and natural movement. Nature therapy it's like taking a walk. Okay. Have you ever gone I live fairly close to Yellowstone. Maybe you've gone to a national park before, or you have a camping memory of a place that you've gone and you've walked through and you've just been in the pine trees and you've heard some birds and you've heard the crash of the waves, or, maybe some fog coming off the lake, or as you're walking, you crunch like a branch and look down, there's pretty beautiful leaves everywhere. There's dew on the grass, just anything that has to do with nature that you've experienced. And then you kind of just step back for a second. You're like, wow, Like, this is beautiful. Or you find that you're not really a busybody in your mind anymore. You're not thinking 100 miles an hour. You're kind of just like taking in the colors, the sights, the textures. Something happens. You're in an altered state. That kind of state is a grounding state. Okay. So it can be anything. It can be going to a local park. It can be walking around your complex when, you know, there's not people racing and speeding by and people blaring their boom boxes, and it's just like a peaceful, maybe the sun setting, anything. Okay. It's going to be different for different people. For me, I can do nature therapy at Yellowstone. I can do it at a local park. I can do it at a couple places around my town that are just quieter that I like to go to. I can watch a squirrel. I can hear birds sing. And it's just, it's you're loving on yourself so you don't fuck yourself over and fuck up the people around you that you love and care about. And so when you go do these things, maybe your spouse is going to say, wow, I can really tell, like, you're investing in yourself here. You're investing time into yourself. You need to get away. You need to get that nature therapy. Okay. And you really need to get your wife, for those of you who have wives, you need to get your wife on board, and she's going to be so happy. This is going to be the best thing ever. You've probably been a complete dick and an asshole. You've had to come back and apologize many times for things that you've done. You seem cold. You seem a certain way that you're really not, because you're dealing with this monster inside of you that's not really you. That monster is not really you, okay? You wouldn't really be that monster if you come out of it and you feel guilt, remorse, shame for things that you've done. You wish things were a different way. You've tried to change. Those are not the signs of a monster. Those are the signs of somebody who's stuck and doesn't know how to get out and break the mold. That's why I'm here, okay? I'm here to help you break that mold and lead you to the next step. So the last one on the list, an important one on the list, is called a throw up journal. Okay. That's something that my wife and I both coined that term just for ourselves. We just like, what should we call this? Oh, let's call it a throw up journal, because essentially that's what we're doing. So utilizing journaling to get anything you're thinking or feeling about out of you and onto paper. Okay, that's really important. It doesn't always have to be something that's directly associated with trauma. It could be something that's built up in you through the day. Maybe you have a shit ton of tasks that you have to do, right? That's more of a to-do list, which I'm just going to tell you is a good thing to do because it frees up mental space. A throw-up journal is more something's bothering you. Okay. It doesn't have to be directly related to your trauma, but it probably is, or adjacently related. And you just throw you just throw it all up in that journal. Just fucking, oh God. And then I feel so bad about this, man. I shouldn't have done it. I can't just, it's so fucking hard to change. And I don't know why this memory keeps coming up. And I'm just so, I don't know what to do with it. It's just, it's killing me, man. And I've tried and blah, blah, blah. And just whatever you want. You know what I've been thinking about all the times my dad, you know what, he treated my mom so bad. And I had this realization I'd never thought as a kid. You know what it was? It was blah, blah, blah. Just anything. You just throw it up. Why? You should be able to tell me by now, with the extent of this video, why you're throwing it up. Why are you throwing it up? To get it out and to process it. Okay. To get it out and to process it. And maybe you're like, well, but I'm not really like using and exercising my body. Well, you're still writing with your hand, okay? Or maybe you're typing, so you're not as much writing, but you're processing that super hard with your mind. And so even if you're not getting a lot of it up at the moment, then you're gonna get it up because you're solidifying it and you're processing it with your mind. And so then when you do apply some body stuff where you're accessing your body more, it's just gonna come up easier. It works in tandem with each other. It's all one cycle doing all of these different things, okay? So you're getting it up to process it, to bring it up, to get it out, right? And maybe after doing that, you go for an RX run. After doing that, you go for a cold shower, okay? And then you do some essential oils, okay? You compare these things. It's like a buffet. You walk in, you're like, oh shit, what do I want today? I think I'm going to the soft serve first. I'm skipping dinner altogether, right? Carve me up some ham, Bubba. So it's anything that you want to put together. Now, how are you going to apply these things? So you're going to apply them by trying all of them, okay? Pairing them together with a bringing the trauma up and out exercise, and then a grounding exercise, bring you down to life so you don't fuck yourself over and everybody else around you, okay? And then you're going to keep on doing that, and you're going to record kind of how you feel. You can do this in a journal. You can do this with a voice memo. You can just ask the person that you trust, hey, have you kind of noticed that, I haven't had as many triggers as lately, or it's easier for me to talk through triggers, or, hey, have you noticed that I'm kind of like going through something? I'm kind of like inside myself more. Okay. Like you can just kind of reflex on those certain things. So go through and try all of these. Okay. Some on the top of your head, you're going to think aren't going to work for you. And they are. Some of you are going to be like, there's no way in hell that's going to work for me. And you're right. It's not, but you need to try it. Okay. So as you pair these things, as you go through, you really need to have some grace with yourself. Okay. You need to have some grace with yourself. All right. You need to give yourself a break, cut yourself some freaking slack, and understand you now have the tools and the ability to become the man that you want to become. Okay. And I'm gearing this towards men. If you're a woman, go ahead and just apply all the same things. But I'm a man. Okay, I understand the man's journey with PTSD. I understand the whole fucking thing because I went through it for years, scratching my nails on a chalkboard that had no answers. Okay, I understand the man's journey. But if you're a woman, go for it. Okay, you are now going to become the man that you truly are inside. Your relationship is going to be something, it's going to be better than you ever imagined. Your mental space is going to be, I can't even tell you, dude. I'm literally like it's kind of like I'm a different person in my head because I had so many chains wrapped around my brain and all my thoughts and my, amygdala and my frontal cortex and, the front and the right and left side of my brain. Everything was under attack on my brain. And so the feeling of feeling free and being in control of my thoughts and being in control of my emotions is something that I thought that I wouldn't ever get. And so I want to wish you just all the success in the world. And believe me, dude, I haven't given you any fluff. I haven't given you any bullshit. I haven't lied to you in the slightest. Everything that I have given you is 100% true. It is my experience. It will work for you. There's nothing magical or special about me. I'm not different. Cold water and stretching and foam rolling and lifting weights and fucking sniffing little bottles of essential oils. It doesn't work on me in a special way, right? It works on anybody, okay? Because these tools are basic. We all have knots. We all process trauma in a very similar way. It has to come up and out, right? We have to access the mind and the body. Now, I do want to touch on a counselor, okay? Because there's a lot of people in this field that I think are wonderful people, and I respect them, and I know that their job is not easy. They listen to other people's shit all day long, okay? That said, there are people in this industry that don't understand that the mind and the body are connected with trauma. When I was in college, I ended up having to go to a counselor. I went to a counselor in the college. She was younger counselor and probably newer at her job. And when I told her one of the things that I had been doing to function and to try to do better in school and things like that, because sometimes, like, if you have PTSD, you can think that you have, I think it was like ADHD or something, but there's other things that you can look like you have that you actually don't have. You just have PTSD. So it can mimic things like that. One of the things I told her that was helping me to go through school, it just started helping me, was cold showers. And she looked at me really strangely and she said, "You need to be really careful with that. I'm not sure that I would advise that." And I said, literally, cold showers are the only reason that I'm actually here today. And all she did was warn me and kind of put fear into me about that. And so that's one of the things to be leery about with counselors, is a lot of them just won't understand the way that trauma actually gets in the body, that it's in there. They'll be like, no, we need to work it out mentally, the knots mentally. No, there's fucking knots in your body that you need to work out too. The other one is going to a counselor. I know a lot of us guys were like, fuck that. I'm not paying the money. I'm not even paying for insurance. It's too expensive. I don't have the time. Okay. I work a full-time job. I'm busy. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to trust a counselor with fucking possibly intimate details of my past, who I am, things I've done, things that have happened. I don't want anybody else to know that shit, especially a counselor, okay? Somebody's going to have to know some of that shit. So you need somebody to talk to and to trust. If it's your spouse, they need to know all that shit, man. You need to walk them through, dude. So if that's the case with you, like it partially was for me, it wasn't quite that extreme because I did go to see multiple different counselors, but the counselor, once you get in there, they can sit you down in the chair and they'll go through something called talk therapy. And that's where you talk about the trauma, not necessarily trust talk, because most likely you don't trust them, you don't feel open, and you're not okay being vulnerable. So it's going to be this weird push-pull, aggressive, non-aggressive kind of comfortable, but then you're judging me and condemning me sort of conversation that is called talk therapy. Okay. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll hit it off. My advice here is that counselor can make you relive your trauma. So it comes up, and then when you leave, it goes back down. And you don't have as good of a week, and it was a lot to go through. It takes a lot of energy. You feel exhausted and uncomfortable afterwards. And then you come back the next week, and eventually you just want to stop going because it's not really getting better. So that's something there to be aware of. The other one is if you want to go the counselor route, which I'm not saying that you shouldn't, I'm saying that you should know things going into this. If you want to go to the counselor route is not just going to heal you. You're not just going to go to a counselor and be like, oh God, after 4 sessions, I just feel like a new person. I'm great. No way. You're going to have to get things out of the body. You're going to have to get the trauma out of the body. So you can try out different counselors. So you can go to a male counselor. You can go to a female counselor. You can go to a counselor on the close side of town, counselor on the far side of town. You can say, hey, and you can just be upfront with them. Hey, I'd love to have a first session. I am trying out for 3 or 4 different counselors to see who I'm most comfortable with. So, or you don't even have to tell them that. You can keep it your little secret and never show up again. So those are some things to note with counselors. I have definitely had some bad experiences with counselors. I had a counselor when I was going to college, and I went in and I kind of unloaded on her with my wife there, who was my girlfriend at the time, and gave her a basic rundown of my trauma and things that had happened in my past in childhood. And she looked at me and she said, well, your past, and from everything you've told me, it's basically a train wreck, and you're never going to fully recover from it. That was her opener. She was a counselor. She was probably in her 50s. And that was her opener to me. I talk about losing hope and losing faith. And hey, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. To set that sort of expectation on someone, hey, your trauma is basically a train wreck and you're never going to fully heal. I was out immediately. I never went back. I remember feeling uncomfortable in that chair with my girlfriend next to me, and hearing that counselor say that to me. I was looking for some sort of hope for her to say, hey, that's a lot, but you know what? I want to let you know that it can get better. And I'm here to tell you, yeah, you've probably got a fuck ton of trauma in your life. Guess what? It can get way better, and it is going to get way better, and you have no idea how good you're going to be. I want you to mark this date right now, okay? From the date you watch this video, you can leave a comment and said, I'm here, I'm ready to implement. I'm here, I'm going balls to the wall. I'm here, I will be back in 6 months to report. You are going to come back in 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or a year, and you're going to come back and you're going to say, hey, it worked. Okay. I never want you to have that horrible experience that I had, and maybe you already have. And that was just one. That was one experience. I'll save us on time and not go into the rest. But just know this is something that is going to change your life forever. You now have everything that you need, but no one can do the work for you. You are going to have to do the work every fucking step of the way. And sometimes you're going to have somebody by your side to help you. My wife, with Trust Talk and with bringing me back down to reality and helping me get out of a dissociative state, Absolutely incredible. I don't know how I would have done it without her. Okay. Cold showers, weightlifting, foam rolling. Those were lonely. They were lonely times. No one could come with me. No one could help me. No one could rub my back and say, good job, keep going. I had to do it on my own and be alone in the dark, walking out the next footstep no one's ever walked before in my shoes, and just going, just taking the next step and going. I had to do those things alone. And you're going to have to do some things alone that no one will ever maybe quite fully understand to the extent of what you're going to go through in your head and in your body from this point forward. And that's part of what's going to shape you into a badass. You're going to be a fucking superhero, dude. You're going to be things that ail and inflict like regular everyday people. You're going to be a Superman, dude. You're going to literally annihilate your kryptonite. And you're going to have stuff happen in the beginning, and then it's going to get less as you get further in, and less and less and less as further in. I hit a point a few years ago. I thought I was like, I can't even believe I'm this good. And then the next year it got better. And you know what happened the next year? Yep, it got better. And then the next year it got even better. I'm at a point right now where I have surpassed where I thought that I could get to by like 1,000%. And I was happy where I had gotten to. I was happy. I was like, holy shit. I don't have triggers every single day. I have triggers, like a few times during the week. I don't have gigantic breakdowns. I have mini breakdowns. Like, I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking ready to go. I'm living life. Oh my God. Like, how many date nights have I missed with my wife because I was going through a trauma event? Like, I am so happy. I'm so fulfilled. I'm 1,000 times better than I was then. And it's just, I can't not smile when I say that, because I'm on top of the mountain looking down now, and I can see myself before. And it's almost that thought, like, I can't believe I'm here. So I want you to lean on me, brother. I want you to lean on me, because I've done it and I'm here. And so I want you, if you need help up that mountain, fucking grab my arm and I will walk along with you, and I'll kind of tug you along with you, and I'll fucking say, keep going. Get your ass up the hill, dude. I love you. You got my brotherly love, man. You got my brotherly love. And it's not just like, I love you, right? Like, we love our families. We love the people that are closest to us that we know. I'm telling you though, I have genuine brotherly love for you because you're my brother. Okay. You have experienced this PTSD, this crippling, debilitating sickness that runs through our veins, that makes a monster come up inside of us. You are there, or you have been there. And so you are my brother, and I have a love for you. Not love for you, man. I love you as a brother. Okay. And that's why I'm giving you this information. This information is literally my way to give back to the world and to help you. I want to see you succeed. So I don't know what else I can say except for, you're on this journey now. You cannot play the victim card. You cannot play the victim mentality. You cannot escape this. You're no longer naive. You are no longer an absentee party in what we're going forward to. Okay. You now have knowledge, and you are now going to be held accountable. You are going to be held accountable to yourself and to your conscience for the rest of your life.